Hi, I'm BreAnna Thornton, and I'll be giving a speech on social judgment theory. We live in a diverse culture, therefore it is important to understand the social judgment theory. A social judgment theory is very useful when dealing with persuasion. This theory suggests that understanding a person's attitude or point of view will help you determine how they will feel and act in a circumstance where they are being persuaded. The beginning of social judgment theory can be traced to early experiments on attitude and persuasion in social psychology, but it was first given in foundations with the work of Muzaffar Sherif and Carl Hovland in 1961. This is Muzaffar Sherif, and this is Carl Hovland. The process of the social judgment is, first is the message, which is incoming information. Second is the access level of ego involvement. This involves latitude of acceptance, the range of positions a person is ready to accept or agree, the latitude of non-commitment, the range of positions a person feels neutral or indifferent about, and the latitude of rejection, the range of positions a person finds objectionable. Then we have exclamation effect. Integrate issue into latitude of acceptance. Contrast effect is incorporate issue into latitude of rejection. The social judgment theory seeks to explain how an audience processes messages, hearing and or receiving and evaluating this message, and then adjusting their attitude to that message. Social judgment helps us to better approach those we are trying to influence or convince of something like when the right time is to have kids. A person's position on an issue is dependent on 1. The person's most preferred position, their anchor point. 2. The person's judgment of the various alternatives, spread across these latitudes of acceptance, rejection, and non-commitment. 3. The person's level of ego involvement with that issue. Social judgment theory. Any attempt to change attitudes must begin with a thorough understanding of the benefits and biases of the target audience. The social judgment and attitudes change the latitude of acceptance. People who accept a wide latitude of positions are easier to persuade than people with narrow attitudes. For an example, if you believe that smoking dope is a personal freedom decision, then it would be easier to persuade you using LSD is okay. If you believe that smoking dope is a threat to the environment and social order, then it would be difficult to persuade you that LSD is okay. There are 5 principles of social judgment theory. 1. We have categories of judgment by which we evaluate persuasive arguments. 2. When we receive persuasive information, we use the categories of judgment and assess it. 3. Our level of ego involvement affects the size to our latitudes. 4. We generally destroy incoming information to fit our categories of judgment. 5. Small or moderate differences between our anchor positions and the one being proposed will cause us to change. And for an example of a outside social judgment theory is when the Robertson family, Phil Robertson, quoted a speech on the A&E and said, "Start with homosexual behavior and start morph out from there. Sleeping around with these women and that woman and those men," he says. Then he paraphrases Corinthians. Don't be deceived, neither the alternatives. In alternatives, the male prostitutes, the homosexual offenders, the greedy, the drunkards, the slanderers, the swindlers, they won't inherit the kingdom of God. Don't deceive yourself. It's not right. And there's a thinking and reasoning. The thinking is a representative example on Annie when Phil Robertson made this comment. The reasoning is when he created controversy. A quote that Muzaffar Sharif and Karl Havert said was, "Attitude change will be influenced by cognitive judgment processes in which a proposed position is compared with a person's existing systems of attitude." There's all kinds of attitudes you have to understand, but in what attitude is that extent? Thank you. That will be my speech.